a few quick reminders before we actually start solving these. There are two things that we need to do before we start solving any equation. What are those two things? So we circle the variable as a reminder that we want to get that variable by itself. We draw the line of equality to help us keep the work organized, so we keep the left side separate from the right side, and then we remember that whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. All right. To get rid of a number, since we want to get the variable by itself, to get rid of a number, we're going to use inverse operations. So we're going to use the opposite operation that we have in the problem here. So for the first problem, for the first equation, we want to get that a by itself, so we'll circle that. We're going to use the golden rule, same thing on both sides of the equation. So I'm going to draw that line as a reminder, and I need to get rid of that negative 3. So how do I get rid of that negative 3? We're going to multiply, right? So this is a division problem, a divided by negative 3, so the opposite of division is going to be multiplication. All right, what am I going to multiply by? Is it 3 or is it negative 3? It's negative 3. Okay, a lot of people have trouble with this. Just remember, you have to multiply by the same number you're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get rid of this negative 3 here, so we have to multiply by negative 3. If we multiply by negative 3 over on the left side, then we're going to have to do the same thing on the right. So we're going to multiply by negative 3 over here. So on the left, those negative 3's cancel each other out, and what does that leave? A all by itself. On the right side, we have negative 12 times negative 3. First of all, a negative times a negative is positive. So we're going to get a positive answer. What's 12 times 3? 36. All right, second one, we want to get that b by itself. It's almost by itself already. There's only one thing over there that we have to deal with, and that's the negative sign. Now, we talked about this already, but if there is no coefficient, then what can we put there? We can put a 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1 in front of the b. So what we get is negative 1b, which is the same thing as negative 1 times b, right? All right, so we have negative 1 times b equals 8. So how do I get rid of that negative 1? We're going to divide. This is a multiplication problem, so the opposite of multiplication is division. What are we going to divide by? Negative 1. All right, don't forget the negative there because we have to get rid of that negative also. So we do that on the other side. And when we do that, on the left side, the negatives cancel each other out and the 1's cancel each other out. We don't really need the 1's, but they do. And what does that leave on the left side? B. And on the right side, we have a positive 8 divided by a negative 1 is negative 8. Now, there's kind of a shortcut to this one. If we know that negative b is positive 8, then that means that b is going to be the opposite of 8, which is negative 8. All right, so since we're just flipping the sign, we're changing it from negative to positive on the left side, then we can change the sign from positive to negative on the right side. But the reason that works is because we're dividing both sides by negative 1. Next one, we want to get c by itself. So we'll circle that, draw our line of equality. And we need to get rid of the 25 to get the c by itself. So what are we going to do? Subtract 25. So we subtract 25 on the right side to get rid of the plus 25. We'll subtract 25 on the left side so that it stays balanced. All right, so on this one, the variable's over on the right side of the equation. So when these cancel out, the c ends up on which side?
Right.
The right side. All right, don't drop the c down and bring it over to the other side. Make sure you bring it straight down on the same side that it's on. All right, on the left side, we have 15. Okay, we'll rewrite it so that the bigger number is on top. So the bigger number is the negative 25, and then the 15 is the smaller number. And we subtract, this one's pretty easy. 5 minus 5 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we get 10. Is that a positive 10 or a negative 10?
Negative.
Negative because 25 is, it's bigger and it's negative. So the bigger number is negative here, so our answer is going to be negative. All right, last one. We want to get the d by itself. So we'll circle that, draw our line of equality. Now this one can be a little tricky because this operation here is what?
Addition.
Addition. And the opposite or the inverse of addition is subtraction. So it would be really tempting here to try to subtract 46 to get d by itself. What's the problem with that?
It's a negative.
It's a negative 46. Exactly. So since this 46 is negative, it's not really addition. Even though it looks like it, when you add a negative, it's actually... Adding a negative is the same thing as subtraction, right? So to get rid of this negative 46, we have to do the opposite of subtraction, which would be addition. So we actually have to add 46 to both sides here. If we were to subtract 46, these would not cancel each other out. A negative 46 and a negative 46 do not cancel each other out, so that wouldn't work. What's that? Yeah, we're just adding more to it if we do that. So you would end up with negative 92 instead of canceling out and getting 0 there. All right, so we add 46 on both sides. On the left side, I'm going to make sure I line up my decimal places so that I can add those easily. So the 46s cancel since one's positive, one's negative. So we get D on the right side. On the left side, let's start in the ones column. What's 7 plus 6? 13. Carry the 1. What's 1 plus 8 plus 4? 13. So we get 133.